Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another edition of Mental Mondays. My favorite part of doing the YouTube videos. I think a lot of you guys that are regulars to the channel, you're real familiar with what's going on here at Mental Mondays. If you're not familiar with it, if you're new to the channel, something we do every Monday that sort of talk about a lot of stuff that doesn't have much to do with fishing, although you can relate it to fishing. And that's part of today's topic, and which is being a real man, being a good man. That's what I want to talk about today. I think it's a topic well worth having, and the reason I thought about this was because of Father's Day yesterday. So I wanted to give you guys my opinion on it. Like I said, what I'm talking about here, this is my opinion. It's not anything I've read or anybody's told me. It's just sort of something I'm sharing with you guys. And maybe some people out there can learn something, from the 60 years I've been on this planet. I don't have all the answers, guys. I don't claim to have all the answers. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just trying to share something and be just sort of a signpost that pointing the way sometime that might help you out. But I think let's talk a little bit about some misconceptions. When you talk about being a real man, I think there's a lot of misconceptions in not only in our country but around the world about what being a good real man is. To a large degree, a lot of people equate being a real man with being, who you vote for, or how many guns you have, or, how big of a pickup truck you have, or how big your package is, or things that don't really have anything to do with the reality of being a good man or a real man. In fact, a lot of the people I have met in my life that base their manliness around things like that I just mentioned, or other things on that surface level, tend to be some of the subpar males that I've ever met in my life. So in my perspective, I want to share with you guys some stuff, what I've learned about it. So much of my experience, what I learned, was formulated from watching my dad. And I think that a lot of us, it's the same thing. I mean, the upbringing we have, it sets the stage for the type of men we turn into. And it ranges the gamut. I know a lot of you guys out there, you may have come from a single family parent, you may have had a traumatic upbringing, a weird upbringing, or you may have had a great upbringing like I did, or anything in between. So not one shoe fits all in there, but a lot of the things that we learn about becoming men is from our upbringing. And if you have a good upbringing and you've got some good role models to go by, you're way ahead of the game. But if you are one of those people out there that really was dealt an unfortunate set of cards, sometimes it's a little bit more difficult. And if you are struggling with that, if you feel like you're lacking something, or you aren't being the best man that you can be, you have to be kind to yourself, because a lot of times you just didn't get the breaks you had. And you can change that. You can change that situation for the better. You don't have to be a victim to your upbringing out there. So in my own case, here's a few things I learned from my dad and how I've modified it in my own life. I learned several things from my dad about being a man, good man. My dad he was strict, hard worker, wasn't perfect, but he provided a stable household. And I don't just mean putting food on the table, that was part of it, but he was like clockwork. It's like when we were kids, my sister and I, 4 o'clock every afternoon, here come my dad in his old pickup truck coming in the driveway, getting off work, just like clockwork. There wasn't anything weird. He never was out at a bar running late or anything like that. He was home every night, taking care of me and my sister and my mom, and having that consistency every single day. It's like there wasn't anything that was like sketchy or fishy. He was super consistent day in and day out with the interaction around the house. Provided discipline, provided guidance, advice, that type of stuff throughout his whole life, and made me really admire him. Growing up. And he did a lot of physical labor, so he was pretty strong physically, much of his life. But the lesson I really learned from my dad about being a man came when he was 80 years old, and he was a lot more frail then, but more of a man than I've ever seen. Because when he was 80, my mom had a stroke and became bedridden, And the doctors told my dad that, and I was in the hospital when they said this, it's like, we're going to have to take, your wife to a nursing home. She's never going to be the same. And Dad just blew up. He goes, I'm not taking her to no damn nursing home. I goes, this is my girl. I've been with her since 15. He goes, I'm going to take care of her. Sure enough, Dad took Mom home, set up a hospital bed in the middle of the living room, and took care of her for 5 years until she passed away. Changed her diapers every day, fed her, never complained one time, did it without any complaining, wanted to do it. That's a real man right there, guys. I'm telling you right there, when you are a 24/7 caretaker for somebody you've been with for 60 years, you step up to the plate in that situation and don't think anything about yourself, that's a man right there. That's the type of man that we all need to strive to be. And none of us is perfect. I mean, every single guy out there, I don't care who you are, what you are, you screw up, you make mistakes. There's things you do every day that you wish you would have done different or done better. That's just the way it is. But there's some things that I'd like to share with you guys, what has really helped me, how I've learned from my dad and modified in my own, a couple different things that in my opinion, which really makes a good man and a strong man. First of all, I'll briefly touch on the fact that if you don't have a family, which I'm not assuming everybody does, if you don't have a family and it's just yourself, you can still work on yourself to be a good, decent, real man. And that is, you work on those admirable qualities in your personality, your compassion, your kindness, your empathy, your courage, your strength, your charity, all that type of stuff. Sharing that with people around you. And then you put off an energy. Once you do that, you put off an energy that helps people, and they see that strength. But if you're somebody like a lot of us out there, including myself, that have a family, first thing you need to remember, guys, is if you have a family, I don't care what your family situation is, it is the responsibility and the thing to do as a man is you have got to step up to the plate and you've got to put yourself second. When the key to being a man is you don't think about yourself. You put other people first. Whatever your wants and needs are, they're not a priority anymore. They're secondary to that. Your priority is to taking care of those people that it's your responsibility to take care of. A lot of different levels there. You've got the physical protection, financial responsibility, ethical responsibility, everything that goes with that. I'll briefly address each one of those. I think one of the first things you do that's going to strengthen yourself as a man is you have got to be able to completely transcend fear on every level, whether it be physical, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, whatever like that. Until you learn how to conquer fear, you're never going to be able to fulfill yourself and live up to your full potential as a man. And the only way that you can do that is through introspection and self-reflection, because you can't bullshit your way through not being afraid of stuff. You've got to challenge those things that you have any fear over and figure out on whatever level how to transcend that, and make sure that your family sees that you do not display fear on any level. That is so key right there, because if you display fear, I'm not talking just on a physical level, all that's part of it. If you display fear on any level, your family picks up on that really quick, and that does nothing but degrade their, provides them an incredible amount of insecurity. Another thing I learned from my dad with there is, he had no fear of death at all. He wasn't a religious person. I'm not either. I'm spiritual. I'm not religious. That was the way my dad was. But somebody like that in the face of death, that has zero fear of death, that's somebody that's fearless out there. And you have got to learn how to become fearless. And you've got to put off that energy of being fearless. And the only way you do that is through the self-introspection. There are some physical things you can do about it. Let's take, for example, protecting your family. Can you protect your family against a home invasion? If tonight, 2 o'clock in the morning, some two dudes kick in your door start running up the stairs with some shotguns? Can you take care of it? You have got to put yourself in the position physically to be able to handle and take care of and protect your family. That's the first thing. There's a tremendous amount of security that comes with knowing you can do that. You know, if your kid's drowning and you got to pull them, 20 foot up a cliff or whatever, do you have the physical strength to do that? If you don't, you need to get in the gym and get that. Things you can do with that. Same with the financial part of it. Your responsibility is feeding your family, taking care of your family. If you're struggling with that, there's things you can do about it. There's things that you can do to improve that situation. Take action and do that. And one of the most important things, which I'll finish off here, is it's your responsibility, and a good man and a real man provides that stable foundation and energy around your household for your family. That means being home at time. That means don't doing any weird shit. That means going out and don't go out and get drunk and come back to the house. That means no yelling and screaming and being abusive, anything like that. Real men do not do that. Subpar men do that. Real men don't. So you have to check every box as far as your integrity goes. And if you've got issues with integrity, you've got to do things that will correct that in order to fulfill your potential as a man and to be the type of person that you need to be to your friends and your family and those around you. So anyway, we could talk about this forever, guys. That's just a few things I wanted to share with you with that. Again, if I touched a nerve out there, some of you guys maybe are struggling with that, just be good to yourself, man. I'm not sitting here saying you're a bad person if you don't live up to all that stuff that I'm talking, but you can take action, man. When you get out of bed in the morning and you're sitting on the side of the bed, you ask yourself every morning, am I the best man I can be? Am I strong? Am I a real man? Or am I faking it? Am I faking it in different parts of my life? It's only nobody else knows but you down deep inside. So anyway, it's my suggestion, if you do have any of those areas that are weak in your life, deal with it. Take control of your own life and deal with it, because I can promise you, you will feel so much better about yourself. Your family will feel so much better about yourself, and it will just make your life much richer and fuller as a result. So anyway, a few thoughts for today. Much appreciated you guys checking in. We'll talk soon.